So welcome back, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful start to your week and that you had a great weekend. I'm busy here working in my office on the AtHomeWithZane store, and I wanted to take a moment to jump on and say that if you haven't noticed or you don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook or Pinterest, and you perhaps didn't see it in the community section on YouTube, I wanted to jump on and let you all know that we recently launched on July 1st our seasonal collection, and that involves our fall collection and our winter collection. And I'm in the process of still adding more items to those collections, but so far, so many of you have already stopped over and started purchasing your winter and fall decor. So I wanted to get these out early because I wanted people to have the opportunity to order their items in advance and get them in time for the holidays. With our store, we do what is called drop shipping, and that means that we don't physically house any of the merchandise here. What happens is when you purchase your order, it is then ordered through the supplier. Your item is then fulfilled by that supplier, and it is shipped out to you directly. So we don't ever physically see the merchandise or ship it or manufacture it or anything like that. So with that being said, oftentimes with drop shipping, it is an extended amount of time to receive your items versus going to a retail store, a larger retail store that manufactures supplies and houses your product. So for instance, when you go to Amazon and you click on an item to order, in one corner at the top, usually it will say the store. It will say manufactured by or seller, and then it will say fulfilled by Amazon. Well, what that means is that supplier has sent a bunch of merchandise to Amazon in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and they're housing it there. And that supplier takes their supplies, sends it to the shipper, which would be Amazon, and they pay them to store their merchandise for them. So when you order an item, you're not actually ordering it 99% of the time from Amazon. You are ordering it from a store that has housed their items through Amazon. And then Amazon is who will send you your merchandise. So if you are in the US, Canada, Mexico, the shipping time is a little bit less because the Amazon store is located in the United States, even though the items that they're sending you come from overseas. So I wanted to explain that because with most small online retail shops where you are strictly online, you don't have a brick and mortar store like us, unless you are an Etsy creator or someone who is manufacturing the merchandise, typically all that merchandise is going to come from overseas. And as you know, that is going to create an extended shipping time for you and a receiving time. So I want to be very, very clear and upfront about that because that's why we put this seasonal decor collections out there early, is because I knew that I wouldn't want them to wait until October, put them out, and then have people expect to have those items to start decorating in October. Typically the shipping time, and it depends on the actual supplier from overseas. Most of our suppliers are from overseas. We do have a few that ship from the US, and I will tell you, I wish I could get all of them to ship from the US. But the problem is that for an online retailer like myself, there are not a lot of options when you narrow it down to US shippers only. So it literally cut it in more than half to just choose suppliers from the US. So I knew that if I waited until October to put those out, people would potentially not receive their items in time to actually decorate with them. And I want everyone to get their merchandise for the intent that they want to use it for. So if you want to buy something for someone as a gift, I would highly suggest placing your order at least 30 days in advance. If you're looking to start decorating for the holidays, I would definitely say place your order at least 30 days in advance. So many of you have jumped on and taken advantage of the fact that we have our stuff out early. And I'm going to be adding to those collections as well. But I did that because I want to give all of you the opportunity to ensure that you have those items for the decorating season. So while some people may think, good grief, why are you putting out Christmas and fall already? I think that I'm putting it out at a great time. We really feel like putting it out now. If you order now, you're certainly going to have your items to start decorating for if you start decorating in, say, the later part of August or September, which I know many of you do for fall. I know many people start decorating at the end of October, beginning of November for their winter season. So we have that out early, and we're very pleased to be able to have the opportunity to do that. So go on and check out those collections and choose your items. We have a lot of really great stuff to choose from. And as I said, I'm going to continue to add some items to each of those collections as I find things that I think are reasonable and are also worthy. The other thing is, every supplier has a dollar amount for their item. So oftentimes I spend a great amount of time researching the item to make sure, number one, it's going to be priced fairly, and number two, that it's going to be of good quality. So while doing that, that's something that I also really felt like, I need to share with all of you, is that the items that are chosen, I spend a great amount of time picking those and then making sure that, I've done my due diligence in reading about the seller, reading any feedback, and that's really the best I can do not having the item in my hands. So whenever I purchase something and I pick it and I put it on the store, it's something that I feel I've done a great amount of research on to make sure that that product is going to be of quality and is going to be priced fairly. If it turns out that that item is not of quality, it will come off of my store. And for anyone, there's been 2 items I have removed from my store because early on I realized that they were not going to be to my standards. So anyone that knows that or was involved in those 2 returns, you know that I do not play around when it comes to that. If your item is not of quality, if you have not portrayed it fairly, if you have misled me to believe that your item is of value and it's not, number one, you're going to get a nasty message from me. The seller is going to. The supplier. It's a professional, but it's a very direct message. That lets them know that I felt as if the item was misled. It's not portrayed to a true image of what they're selling. And then I will also remove the items from my store. So as far as the suppliers go, I don't play around with them at all. There's zero tolerance. My customers come first. So if my customers are inconvenienced in any way, shape, or form by a supplier, they don't even really get the 3 strikes you're out. If they inconvenience my customer and they create an issue for me, which creates an issue for them, they're off my store, period. And for those of you who I've dealt with on those few occasions, I can say I've been very, very, very fortunate in that everyone that's receiving their merchandise, it's been of quality, and those people who received something that it was not, it was actually one particular item. It was a throw. It went on the store very early on, like within the first week of launching the store, and that supplier did not portray that throw accurately, and the feedback on it was very limited, and the store's information, they had a good rating. So at any rate, the supplier came off immediately. The throws, I refunded the customers for the throws, and then, went on to file a complaint with the supplier network, and they were actually banned from selling that throw on our network at all. So, I never want to be responsible for someone losing the ability to sell something, but hey, you know what? Don't lie. Do not lie. And certainly do not put something out there that is going to lead someone to believe that it's something more than what it really is. That's never my intention. My husband can certainly attest to the fact that I spend a great amount of time researching these things when I put them out there, probably more so than a lot of people would, but I really want to make sure that you're happy when you receive your items and that you have a good experience. And as I've said before, I'm extremely involved in what goes on in my store, and so I don't want anyone to walk away dissatisfied. And so certainly if I think a supplier has created that issue, they won't be a part of my store, period, the end, they're gone. So at any rate, I wanted to share a lot of that information with you actually, because I wanted you to kind of have an idea of how it works once you've placed your order, how our store works since we don't actually house any of the items here. All that information is available on our store as well. You receive it usually in your emails. Once you've placed your order, you'll receive updates as to when your order has been shipped and things like that. And it's also at checkout. It's on the front page, our home page of our store, talks about shipping and receiving time as well. So we launched those collections with a lot of excitement because we wanted to be able to give you all the opportunity to shop early. And I know a lot of department stores actually are putting their items out early, and I know some people knock it and they say, good grief, it's not even the 4th of July and they're putting out Christmas. Well, for retailers where you can walk in and buy it, I've kind of never really truly understood that myself. But having an online business where you have to take into consideration that it has to get from China to someone in Canada, I think it's intelligent and a very smart move to make to put those items out early for your customers. And so I knew right away that our seasonal collections were going to go out in July. And so I wanted to let you all know that there's good reason for that. And actually the reason really was for all of you. It was the consideration that when you are shopping, you'll have the ability to purchase your items now, and then you'll have your lovely decor to decorate with whenever you feel like it. If you want to start decorating for it in August, you'll have it to do so. So thank you all so much for watching. Check out my video description for links to all my social media sites, my Instagram, my Pinterest, my Facebook. I'll include a link to the At Home with Zane store. Be sure and check out our seasonal collections. I think you'll find some things that you really love. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll look for you the next time.